My brother Siddharth said it at his wedding reception, not quietly at the microphone during the toast in front of 230 people. He said, "I want to thank everyone who supported me on this journey, my wife's family, my colleagues, my friends." And then he paused, and then he said, "I worked hard for everything I have. Nobody handed me anything. Some people in life take and call it family. I chose to be different." And he looked at me when he said it. 230 people turned to see who he was looking at. I was sitting at table 11. Not the family table. Table 11. I had paid for his college education. I had worked 2 jobs for 4 years. I had given up my own postgraduate program so he could go to his. I had wired money every month for 6 years and had never once called it a debt. He called me a freeloader in front of 230 people. I picked up my glass. I took one sip. I set it down. And I understood something I had been trying not to understand for a long time. Part 1. The years and what they cost. My name is Rohan Verma, and I want to tell you about my brother with the honesty that the story requires, because honesty is the foundation of everything. Siddharth was 4 years younger than me. We had grown up in Lucknow in a family that had been reduced, when I was 16 and he was 12, to the 2 of us and our mother. Our father had left, not dramatically, just the slow departure of someone who had decided that the obligations of a family were not compatible with whatever he was looking for. He had gone to another city and had sent money occasionally, and had eventually stopped sending money, and had eventually become someone we referred to in the past tense. Our mother had worked. She had worked hard and with the specific dignity of a woman who understood that her children were watching her and who chose, in the watching, to show them something worth watching. She had been a school administrator. She had done tutoring on the side. She had managed with a precision that was its own form of love. I had watched her manage, and I had understood at 16 that watching was not enough. I had started working at 17. Part-time first, then more as the years accumulated. I had done my undergraduate degree in commerce while working, a combination that had taken extra time and considerable energy, but that had produced both things, the degree and the savings. By the time Siddharth was ready for engineering college at 18, I had saved enough to cover the first year. I had covered all 4 years. 2 jobs, the accounting position at a small firm and the evening tutoring work, 3 evenings a week with students who needed help with the same subjects I had studied. I had done this for 4 years. I had given up the postgraduate program in business analytics that I had been accepted to because the tuition for 2 people simultaneously was not mathematics that worked. I had deferred the acceptance. I had not reapplied. The deferral had become a decision. By the time I understood it was a decision. Siddharth had graduated. He had gone into the technology sector, which he was suited for and which had treated him well. He had risen in his company with the specific rise of someone who was genuinely talented and who had been given a foundation. He had become, in the language of his world, successful. And I had what? I had become the branch manager of a finance firm in Delhi, which I had moved to 5 years ago. I had built a career that was good and that was mine, and that was built on the specific knowledge of someone who had learned how money worked by watching what it did when there was not enough of it. I was 34 years old. I had a good apartment, a good team, a good reputation. I had also a brother who had called me a freeloader in front of 230 people. Part 2, Table 11. I want to tell you about Table 11 because Table 11 matters. The family table at Siddharth's wedding was Table 1, his wife's parents, his best friends, his closest colleagues. It was a round table near the stage with the good view and the specific placement that communicated importance. I had been placed at Table 11. Not by accident. I had seen the seating chart 2 days before the wedding. His wife's mother had shared it with me, not knowing that there was anything unusual about where I was placed, simply being the warm organizer she was. Table 11 was on the left side of the room, slightly behind a decorative partition, with a partial view of the stage. I had said nothing about the seating when I saw it. I had come to the wedding. I had dressed well. I had sat at Table 11. I had spoken to the people at Table 11 who were, it turned out, Mostly the out-of-town relatives of his wife's family, perfectly pleasant people who did not know me and who had no context for why I was at table 11 rather than table 1. And then Siddharth had given his toast. I want to be precise about the toast, because precision matters. He had not said my name. He had not pointed at me. He had used the language of implication. Some people in life take and call it family. And he had looked in my direction as he said it, and 230 people had followed his gaze to table 11, and the implication had been received without names being required. I had picked up my glass. I had taken one sip. I had set it down. I had understood something I had been trying not to understand. The something was this. I had spent 18 years building a story about my brother that was not accurate. The story was that he was young, that he had been shaped by difficult circumstances, that the distance that had grown between us as his career had grown was temporary, that the person I had worked 2 jobs for was somewhere inside the person who was drifting away. The toast had clarified the story. He was the person who had stood at a microphone at his own wedding and had called his brother a freeloader. The person I had been protecting in my head for 18 years was not the real person. I had finished my dinner at table 11. I had spoken warmly to his wife, who was a genuinely kind person and who had nothing to do with the toast. I had congratulated them both. And then I had gone back to my hotel, and I had sat with the clarity of someone whose window has been cleaned in a way they had not expected. The clarity was not grief. It was something more useful than grief. It was done. Part 3, NEIL. I need to tell you about Neil before I tell you about what happened after the wedding, because Neil is the reason the after was not just the after. Neil Kapoor had been in my life for 3 years. He was 32, 2 years younger than me, and he was the deputy manager in my team at the Delhi finance firm, the person who ran the operational side of the branch with the specific competence of someone who had learned the work from the inside out. He had joined the firm a year after I had become the branch manager, and the working relationship had developed over 3 years into the kind of professional partnership that produces consistently good work. He was also, and I want to tell this honestly, someone who had been present for the most specific and difficult parts of the 3 years, not because he had sought it, because he was perceptive in the specific way of people who pay attention without making the attention visible, and because the difficult parts of 3 years have a way of becoming present in the work environment even when you are trying to keep them separate. He had known about Siddharth, not the full version, the professional outline, that I had a younger brother, that the relationship was complicated, that the wedding was coming, and that I was going to it with the specific feeling of someone who was not certain of their welcome, but who was going anyway. He had not asked questions. He had said, 2 days before I left for Lucknow, "Whatever happens, the work is here. Take the time you need." I had looked at him. "It's a weekend," I had said. "I know," he had said. "Take more if you need it." I had not needed more than the weekend. I had come back Monday morning. I had walked into the branch. Neil had looked up from his desk and had said nothing and had handed me the morning reports, and we had started the week. At 11, he had come to my office with 2 cups of coffee. He had set one on my desk. He had sat in the chair across from me. "Tell me," he had said. I had told him. Part 4, the telling. I had told him the full version, not the managed version the professional framing would have been. The wedding was fine. The family situation is what it is. I'm focused on the work. I had given him the full version because by Monday morning after the wedding, I was done managing the story. The toast, table 11. The 230 people. The 18 years and the 2 jobs and the postgraduate program deferred and then quietly abandoned. The money wired every month for 6 years without once calling it a debt. All of it. He had listened. He did not interrupt. He did not say the things that people say when they are listening but not really listening, the mums and the nods that are performances of reception. He listened with the complete stillness of someone who was taking in what was being said and was not doing anything else simultaneously. When I finished, he was quiet for a long moment. Then he said it at the microphone. Yes, I said. In front of the whole room, he said. Yes, I said. And you sat at table 11 and finished your dinner, he said. Yes, I said. And you congratulated his wife, he said. She's a good person, I said. She had nothing to do with it. He was quiet for another moment. Rohan, he said. Yes, I said. You spent 4 years working 2 jobs so he could go to college, he said. Yes, I said. And he called you a freeloader, he said. In those specific terms, yes, I said. He looked at his coffee. That is one of the most dishonest things I have ever heard, he said. Simply, not with rage, with the specific calm of someone who has processed what they have been told and has arrived at an accurate assessment. Yes, I said. What are you going to do? He said. I don't know yet, I said. I needed to say it out loud first. Okay, he said. Thank you, I said, for listening. You don't have to thank me for that, he said. I looked at him across the desk. This person who had handed me the morning reports and made the coffee and had simply said, tell me. No, I said. I know, but I am anyway. He picked up his coffee. The work is good this week, he said. The Kumar account resolved. The quarterly numbers are clean. Good, I said. Take what you need, he said. The branch is fine. He went back to his desk. I looked at the morning reports. And I understood, sitting at my desk on a Monday morning, that the person who had listened to the full version without performance was the person I had been filing things about for 2 years. Part 5, 2 years of filing. I want to tell you about the 2 years, because the story is not only about Siddharth. Neil had been in my professional life for 3 years. The first year had been professional in the clean sense, a new team member learning the branch, me learning his working style, the standard calibration period that a new working relationship requires. The second and third years had been different. He was someone who was good at the work in the way that goes past technical competence. He understood what the work was for, not just the finance mechanics, but the reason the work existed. He managed the operational team with the specific skill of someone who understood that people were the most important variable in any process, that you got good work from people by treating them as people and not as functions. He was direct with clients in a way that built trust rather than friction. He solved problems before they became problems. He was also, in the spaces around the work, someone who paid attention. Not in a performed way, not in the way of someone building social capital. In the genuine way of someone who was actually interested in things and people, and who expressed that interest through the simple method of actually paying attention. He had learned how I took my coffee. He had learned what tone in my voice meant I was working through something difficult and needed space rather than input. He had learned which vendors I trusted, and which ones required verification, and which problems could wait until morning and which could not. He had learned these things not through asking but through watching, and the watching had been, I had understood gradually, the watching of someone who was paying specific attention. I had been filing the specific attention for 2 years. The professional context was real. He reported to me. I was the branch manager. The power differential existed and had implications that I had taken seriously throughout the 2 years of filing. But the filing had been filling. And Monday morning after the wedding, when he had handed me the reports and made the coffee and listened to the full version and said you don't have to thank me for that, the filing had arrived at a point where it needed to be addressed. Part 6, my mother. My mother called on Tuesday, the day after the Monday morning. She had been at the wedding. She had been at the family table, which I understood had been table 1. She had said nothing about this to me beforehand, had not known about table 11 until the seating was visible at the event. She had called from Lucknow with the specific tone she used when she had been thinking about something since it happened, and was now calling because the thinking had produced something she needed to say. Rohan, she said. I said. The toast, she said. Yes, I said. I heard it, she said. I was at table 1, I heard every word. I know, I said. I looked for you, she said. When he looked in the direction of table 11, I didn't know you were at table 11 until I turned. It's all right, I said. It is not all right, she said, quietly and with the specific force of a woman who had spent 30 years being measured about her words and who was choosing not to be measured now. No, I said, it isn't. I spoke to Siddharth, she said. I waited. I told him what he said was wrong, she said. What he implied about you was wrong. I told him what you gave up. I told him what those years cost you. He knew some of it. He didn't know all of it. I told him all of it. What did he say? I said. She was quiet for a moment. He said the toast wasn't about you, she said. He said I was reading something into it. He was looking at me when he said it, I said. I know, she said. I told him that. And, I said. He said he didn't mean it that way, she said. The specific tone of someone reporting words they do not believe. I said. I know, she said. He did mean it, I said. I don't need him to admit it. I just need to stop pretending he didn't. She was quiet. He's my son, she said. I love him. I know, I said. I also know what you gave, she said. I know what those years were. I know what you deferred and what you never took back. I know. You never asked me to, I said. I chose it. Yes, she said. You chose it, and he called it freeloading. The line was quiet for a moment. I'm not going to pretend the relationship is what it isn't, I said. I'm done doing that. No, she said. Don't pretend, but also. I know, I said. I'm not angry, I'm clear, that's different. She made the sound she made when she was receiving something that she needed to sit with. Come home sometime, she said. Not for Siddharth, for me. Yes, I said, soon. Part 7, the weeks after. The weeks after the wedding were the weeks of learning what it felt like to stop maintaining a story. The story I had been maintaining was, Siddharth is complicated, but he is my brother, and the relationship is worth the management. Stopping the maintenance did not produce anger or grief. It produced space. The energy that had been going into the maintenance became available for other things. The other things were, primarily, the work. The Delhi branch was in the middle of a significant expansion, a new product line that required the whole team's attention, and that was, professionally, the most interesting challenge I had been given in 5 years. I put the available energy into the work, and the work produced results that were the best the branch had done. Neil was the operational lead on the expansion. He was, as he was with everything he did, excellent, not in the performance sense, in the genuine sense of someone who understood what the work required and who produced it with the full attention of someone for whom excellence was not a goal but a standard. I watched him work with the attention I had been directing at him for 2 years. I also noticed that the filing was becoming impossible to maintain. Not because of the wedding, though the wedding had changed something about my relationship to management in general. Because of the Monday morning and the Tuesday morning and the Wednesday morning, the simple accumulation of being alongside someone who was consistently the same person, consistently present, consistently excellent, and who had listened to the full version on a Monday and had handed me the morning reports and said, take what you need. 3 years, and the filing had been growing. Now it was overflowing. I called my friend Akash on a Thursday. Akash was the person in my life who could be told things. He had known me since my 20s, and he had the quality of giving accurate assessments without managing you toward the one he preferred. I told him about Neil, not the 3 years, the Monday morning and what it had made visible. He had listened. How long has it been building? He said. 2 years, I said. The professional context is real. He reports to me. I know, he said. The power structure exists, I said. I know, he said. It has implications, I said. Rohan, he said. Yes, he said. You know what the implications are and how to address them correctly, he said. That is not the question. What is the question? I said. The question is whether the filing is worth the cost of maintaining it, he said, and whether the person on the other side of the file is filing the same thing. I thought about Monday morning, the 2 cups of coffee, the complete stillness of the listening. Yes, I said. To which part? He said. Both, I said. Then, he said. Yes, I said. Stop filing, he said. Part 8, what I said. I did not say it dramatically. I want to tell you that because the story is not the story of a dramatic declaration. It is the story of 2 people who have been paying attention for a long time and who stop pretending they haven't. It was a Friday evening. The expansion project had had a good week. A significant milestone had been hit. The team was in the specific good energy of people who have done something difficult and done it well. The office had emptied by 7. I was finishing the week's paperwork. Neil was at his desk finishing his. At 7:30, he came to my door with 2 cups of coffee. Friday evening office coffee. He sat in the chair. Good week, he said. Yes, I said. The Kumar expansion milestone, he said. The team was good, I said. You were good, he said. I looked at him. Neil, I said. Yes, he said. The Monday morning, I said, after the wedding. Yes, he said. You listened to the full version, I said. Not the managed one, the full one. Yes, he said. I gave you the full version because I had decided to stop managing things, I said. He was looking at me. I've been managing something else, I said. For 2 years. The professional context is real and I'm not going to pretend it isn't. The power structure exists. I've been not saying something because of those things and because the timing has been wrong. And now, he said. The timing is still complicated, I said. But I'm not going to keep maintaining the management when the cost of the management has become more than the cost of being honest. He was very still. 2 years is a long time, he said. Yes, I said. I've been filing the same thing, he said. For the same reasons, the professional context and the power structure and the timing. What changed for you? I said. The Monday morning, he said. Watching you sit at your desk and open the morning reports after the wedding. Watching you do the work. Knowing what the weekend had been and watching you do the work with the same quality you always do it with. That changed something, I said. It confirmed something, he said. That the version of you at the table 11 wedding is the same version at the Monday morning desk. Consistent, real, not managed. I looked at him. The professional structure, I said, needs to be addressed if we're going to say these things. Yes, he said, I've thought about how. So have I said. We can discuss it, he said. Yes, I said, properly, not tonight. Not tonight, he agreed. But tonight, I said, I'm done filing. He looked at me across the Friday evening desk. So am I, he said. Part 9, the professional conversation. We had the professional conversation the following Monday. Not in the office, at a coffee place 2 streets over, before the workday started, the specific context of a conversation that was real, and that deserved a real setting rather than the professional one. We had talked through the structure carefully. His reporting line, the specific change that would make the professional relationship clean if the personal one was to be honestly acknowledged. The option was straightforward. His role could move to reporting to the operations director rather than to me directly. This was, independently of the personal situation, actually the right structural move for a branch at this stage of its development. The operations director had been underutilized in terms of direct reports. The move made professional sense. It would have made sense anyway, he said. Yes, I said. I'd been thinking about it for 6 months. Then it's the right change for the right reasons, he said. Both reasons, I said. Both reasons, he agreed. We had been clear with each other about what the honest acknowledgement of the personal thing required from the professional side. We had been clear about the obligation to transparency with the organization, not a public declaration, but a clean structure that meant the professional relationship was without conflict. The conversation had taken 45 minutes and had been entirely honest throughout. At the end, he had said, "You're very good at this." "At what?" I said. "At handling complicated things correctly," he said, without either ignoring the complexity or letting the complexity be the reason to not do the right thing. "I've had practice," I said, thinking about the 2 jobs and the deferred postgraduate program and the 6 years of monthly wires and the Monday morning after the wedding. "I know," he said. "You know a lot about me," I said. 3 years, he said. 2 years of paying attention. I looked at him across the coffee table. "The structural change happens next week," I said. "Yes," he said. "And then," I said. "And then," he said, "we figure out the rest." Part 10, SIDDHRTH, MONTHS later. I want to tell you about Siddharth because the story is not complete without the full picture. He called 3 months after the wedding. I had not called him. I had not blocked his number, I had simply not called, which was its own communication. He called on a Sunday evening. I answered. "Rohan," he said. "Siddharth," I said. He was quiet for a moment. "The toast," he said. "Yes," I said. "I didn't mean it the way it sounded," he said. I sat with this. "How did you mean it?" I said. A pause. "I was trying to say I had worked hard," he said, "that I had built what I have by myself." "You were looking at table 11 when you said it," I said. "I know," he said. "I'm sorry." "Siddharth," I said. "Yes," he said. "The college fees," I said. 4 years. "I know," he said. "The 2 jobs," I said. "I know," he said. "The postgraduate program I gave up," I said. Silence. "I told you," he said. "She told you," I said. "I'm telling you again." "I didn't know about the program," he said, quietly. "No," I said. "I didn't tell you because you were 18 and you didn't need to carry it." "But you carried it," he said. "Yes," I said. He was quiet for a long moment. "I owe you something I don't know how to give back," he said. "You don't owe me money," I said. "You never did. I gave it because you were my brother and because I chose to." "Then what do you want from me?" he said. "Nothing," I said. "That's the honest answer. I don't want anything from you in the transactional sense. What I want is for you to understand what you said at that microphone and what it said about how you see what I did." He was very quiet. "It was wrong," he said. "What I said was wrong. Whether I meant it to land the way it landed or not, it was wrong." "Yes," I said. "I'm sorry," he said. The second time, this one less prepared and more real. "I know you are," I said. "Can we?" he started. "Give it time," I said. "I'm not slamming a door, I'm asking for time." "Okay," he said. "How is she?" I said, his wife. "Good," he said. "She's good." A pause. "She didn't know about everything. After I called me, she and I talked. She was," he stopped. "Angry with you," I said. "Yes," he said. "Good," I said. Not with cruelty, with the specific appreciation for honesty wherever it came from. He almost laughed, the first real thing in the conversation. "Yes," he said, "probably good." Part 11, what was built. 6 months after the wedding. I want to tell you what the 6 months had built, because the building is the point. The branch had completed the expansion successfully. The Kumar product line was live and performing. The team had grown, and the operations director had settled into the expanded direct report structure with the ease of someone who had been ready for it. Neil's reporting line had moved cleanly, and the professional structure was exactly what it should be. Neil and I had been building the other things slowly, honestly, with the specific care that important things deserve. Not dramatically, in the way of 2 people who have known each other for 3 years and who are now being honest about what the knowing has been. The ease was already there. The trust was already there. What was being built was the acknowledgement and the direction. He had met Akash in month 3. Akash had said afterward, "He listens the same way you do." I had said, "What do you mean?" He had said, Both of you listen like the other person is the most important thing in the room. It's the same quality. That's why it works. I had thought about that. He had also met my mother. She had come to Delhi in month 4. I had told her about Neil before she came, not everything, the honest outline. She had received it with the specific quality I had been hopping for, quietly, without drama, with the kind of love that adjusts rather than the kind that conditions. She had met him over a meal at my apartment. She had been warm with him in the way she was warm with people she had decided to be warm with. She had asked him about his family, about the work, about what he thought about things. He had answered honestly. After he had gone, she had said, "He takes care of things." "Yes," I had said. "He takes care of you," she had said. "Yes," I had said. "The way you took care of Siddharth," she had said, without needing it to be named or returned. I had looked at my mother. "That's a real quality," she had said. "Not everyone has it." "No," I had said, "not everyone does." Part 12, the morning. 7 months after the wedding. I want to tell you about a specific morning, because specific mornings are where the real things live. It was a Tuesday in October. Delhi in October was the specific October that the city produces after the monsoon, clear and slightly cool, and the particular quality of light that makes the city look like it has been washed clean. I was in my apartment making breakfast. The news was on low. The light was coming through the kitchen window in the October way. Neil was at the table with coffee, his, and mine, already made and correctly made because 3 years of attention had produced that knowledge. He was reading something on his phone with the focused ease of someone doing what they always do on a Tuesday morning. I looked at him from the kitchen. I thought about the toast, table 11, the 230 people, the 18 years and the 2 jobs and the postgraduate program abandoned quietly without ceremony. I thought about what all of it had produced. Not Siddharth's success, not the resentment, not the clarity of the Monday morning after the wedding, though the Monday morning had been important. What all of it had produced was this: a person at a kitchen table on a Tuesday in October who had listened to the full version and had said you don't have to thank me for that, and who had made the coffee correctly and who was paying attention right now, reading his phone, present in the way of someone who had chosen this specifically and who was not going anywhere. "Rohan," he said, without looking up. "Yes," I said. "The Sharma account briefing is at 9, he said. "I know," I said. "You were looking at me," he said. "Yes," I said. He looked up. "What?" he said. "Nothing," I said. "Everything." He looked at me with the expression that had been present for 2 years before it was named, and that was still the same expression now that it had been named. "Come have breakfast," he said. I went and had breakfast. The October light was on the kitchen table. The news was low. The Sharma account briefing was at 9. I had given 18 years to a brother who had called me a freeloader. And in the giving, and in the walking away from the management of that story, and in the Monday morning when someone had made coffee and said, "Tell me," in all of it, I had found something that my brother's toast had not been able to take. The real thing. The one you build on the correct foundation. Clapperboard final hook. He stood at the microphone at his own wedding and said some people in life take and call it family. He looked at table 11. 230 people turned. I picked up my glass. I took one sip. I set it down. And I understood that the story I had been maintaining, the one about my brother and what he was and what the relationship could become, was not true, had not been true for a long time. The toast had simply said it where everyone could hear. I did not leave dramatically. I finished my dinner. I congratulated his wife. I went to my hotel and I sat with the clarity of someone whose window has been cleaned. I went back to Delhi on Monday morning. Someone handed me the morning reports and made coffee and said, "Tell me." I told the full version. And in the telling, and in the listening, and in the 3 years of Monday mornings before that, and the 7 months of Tuesday mornings since, something was built that no toast at any table could take away. He called me a freeloader. He was wrong about what I was. He was wrong about what I had built. He was wrong about what I was worth. And the person sitting at my kitchen table in October light knows exactly what I am worth and has known it for 3 years and demonstrates it in the specific undramatic way of someone who pays attention every single day. I sacrificed 18 years. What I built in the 7 months after was more than the 18 years cost. If this story found something you needed, if someone has ever taken what you gave and called it nothing like it, share it with someone who is still giving to the wrong person, and subscribe. Tell me in the comments, have you ever sacrificed something for someone who didn't see it, and what did you build after? And one last question. 8 months from now, Siddharth comes to Delhi, not to ask for anything, just to come. He asks if he can see me. I say yes. We have dinner, the 3 of us. And at the end of the dinner, Siddharth says something to Neil. Just the 2 of them while I'm in the kitchen, something he couldn't say to me directly. Neil tells me afterward. Should I tell you what Siddharth said? Part 2 is coming. Eyes. Subscribe. You will not want to miss it. The Revenge Chronicles.